Our guest this segment is Steve Gray, founder and president of Orbis Robotics. All right, Steve, Ed had a really good question for you. We were talking about you on the break and telemedicine, right, Ed?
Well, one thing that stands out when you look at a product like this is you think about the resolution of the camera. How precise is it? Can that precision be increased? And also, can that amount of data be delivered on a remote basis? So, I guess my question, Steve, is, and looking at the robot itself, how do you see it as a use as far as telemedicine is concerned, and also using remote diagnostics, things like that? Because we've seen those things come down the pike, but the question now becomes, how can the robot help that?
Yeah, there are several telepresence robots in the market right now being used in telemedicine. I believe I've heard the number, about 1,000 of them have been deployed at hospitals, mainly for specialists to provide expertise in hospitals or clinics that don't have that expertise available. But yeah, you're right about the optics and the capabilities. And our teleporter, we actually were tested by a neurologist who had already was familiar with some of the other telemedicine robots that are out there in use, and he asked us to show him the zoom capability. And so from about 10 feet away, we zoomed up to his face just to see, so he could see the HD quality of the image. And he asked us how far we could zoom. So we kept zooming up to his eye, and then we zoomed up to his pupil, and reflecting off of his pupil, you could see the robot in the distance. It was that clear of an image, and the neurologist exclaimed that he could easily, from across an emergency room, diagnose a stroke victim. And that's, in that application, that's the most important for them. If he's not on site, he needs to be able to provide immediate direction to the emergency room when there's a stroke victim. They only have a matter of time before they can actually do something to reverse the effects of the stroke.
One thing that stands out about what you just said is you mentioned the remote medical part of it. A lot of the U.S. hospitals and a lot of hospitals in the developed world already have this technology available to a certain extent. I guess the question now becomes, from a global basis, from a humanitarian basis, where you have fewer trained doctors and specialists like that, do you foresee this as being a useful product for the remote doctors in remote regions across the globe?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to make it possible for our experts to be available to those more remote worlds, third world countries, where they still have the needs, and make our expertise available to them through this telemedicine robotic device.
Are you now? I know this is really mundane because we're talking about things that are helping people, but is there also commercialized, possibilities? I mean, are people looking to push their products through your robots and that are in different applications in different places?
That's feasible. I hadn't thought about it as far as commercializing your product through the robot.
Yeah.
It's more putting your product to use through the robot. I think that's the big, for instance, the robots can be used, the home robots can be used for telemedicine also. It doesn't have to be in a remote world. It can be like your elder parent can have a robot like this. They're affordable, and nurses can log in and be able to take diagnostics from Bluetooth-enabled technology for like blood ox and blood pressure to be able to help diagnose issues before that patient has to go to the hospital to be checked out.
So based on what you just said, you see this as a potential revolution in home health care?
Oh, completely. Yeah, we have several patents in that area and are striving to make this technology affordable so that it can be put in the home and available to the our aging population and the entire world. There's a bubble of people who are getting to the age where they need more care, and there's not enough people to be able to care for them. China is facing a huge problem with its aging population due to the last 30 years of population control they've put into place. There are going to be 250 million people that are over the age of 70, and a fraction of those people are younger than that age to be able to support them.
Right, we've got about 4 minutes left in the segment, and I wanted to bring that up so we didn't rush you. You've got milestones you've already achieved, and I know that you're currently raising money for expansion and other projects. We can't really talk about the deal or the amount, but I wanted you to bring out some of the milestones that you've achieved with Orbis Robotics and where we're going in the future with your company.
Well, thank you. We currently have 2 models in manufacturing. We only have about 3 months of revenue. We have deployed robots in factories as well as in funeral homes, and then we of course have targeted several other applications. So yeah, we are in the thralls of raising funds, particularly for this home robotics market, which we believe can be in the billions of dollars as far as potential income.
Now, I could see this in department stores and malls, things of that nature. I mean, aside from the medical industry, there's so many different applications. Are you getting, or planning on getting outside the borders of the United States, or are you thinking that it's going to take a little while for this to catch on here domestically?
No, well, we both. We actually have customers in Quebec, Quebec, Canada, and we also have China as well as Turkey that we're either current customers or are already talking to about. There's other applications too in the security industry also that these robots can be used, where we can keep our military and police out of harm's way. So the initial interaction with potential terrorists can be through the robot. And then you also mentioned the retail application. We have partnered with the American Legion. There are about 50,000 disabled Americans who are looking for opportunities, and what I've heard is the most difficult thing for getting a job. It's not the job itself for the disabled American. Sometimes it's just getting from their home to the workplace. And if telepresence could make that possible for them so that they could work from home. And we actually have a spokesperson who works for us who is homebound, and she used the robot last summer. She drove the robot through the streets of Chicago in a parade, the Disability Pride Parade, and met hundreds of people and showed them that she was just as able as everybody else to be there in that parade.
All right, we got about 2 minutes left. Ed, one more.
Steve, when you look at your business model and you think about increasing distribution, a couple of things come to mind. One, do you see this as an opportunity for strategic relationships with existing robotic companies? Do you see this as a manufacturing opportunity for yourself, or some combination of both?
Well, it's a manufacturing opportunity for Orbis Robotics right now. We are we're not only are we a strong engineering team with a lot of automation background, we also are very strong in manufacturing and a lot of the manufacturing principles. So at this point, we've developed our own factory, and we're using lean manufacturing methods. Eventually, as things grow and we need to become more profitable, of course, we will be venturing into working with other companies to evolve this technology and to keep it affordable. And that's one of our missions, is to make this something that's very affordable. I can talk about the prices of my robots, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we sell the Carl robot for just over $6,000. So, like I said, it's very reasonably priced. And the home robot that we want to develop, our target is to be below $2,000, so that family members can check in on their parents. I mean, that was my ultimate dream, and that's where I want it to be.
All right, we've got to go, Steve, but if anybody wants to reach you to talk about investments or product purchase, how do they reach you? What's the web address?
Yeah, they absolutely can go to our website, www.orbis, O-R-B, as in boy, I-S, robotics.com. On our website, we have a test drive menu item. Just click on it. It's a schedule. You schedule your test drive and try it yourself. Take it out. You'll have one of our people that can talk you through the controls and experience it for yourself, and you'll see how independent you are in another part of the world.
Perfect. Thanks, Steve, for being a guest on our show.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks for joining. Good luck. Good trading.